I'm here today with Moe, who is an InfoSec professional, and she's also unique in the sense that she has a pacemaker inside of her, and her life depends on a piece of software slash hardware, I guess. Marie is going to be the keynote speaker at the upcoming hack.lu conference, speaking about her experience with her device. And she's also involved with the Cavalry, a volunteer grassroots movement working on promoting safety by design in connected technologies. For full disclosure, I'm also involved in the Cavalry, so I know Marie from there. But this interview will be about her hack.lu keynote and what you can expect to hear her talk about. So, Marie, you'll be talking about how living with a device is, and we'll get to that in your keynote. I have some questions to hopefully add extra perspective to your talk. Question one, have you tried hacking your own heart? Or if not, have you been tempted to do it?
Yeah, I understand why you asked me that. And maybe people expect to come to this talk and hear about my experiences from the lab, hacking into my own device. I'm sorry I have to disappoint you on that. I haven't done that. I don't think that would be ethical research because my life depends on this device. My every heartbeat is generated by the pacemaker, and it would be very dangerous to my life if it failed. But of course, I'm curious about my exposure and my attack surface because of this device. So I read the manual, and I've also, and of course, as a security professional, some things in the manual worried me. I'm going to go into that in the talk, especially when it comes to its wireless interface.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I have experienced firsthand what it means to be subject to someone else controlling my heart, because I go to regular checkups, and every time I go to this checkup, they run a test suite on my pacemaker just to check that it's working correctly. Part of this is actually also switching it off to see what happens. Can my heart take over? And I know the feeling laying there at the doctor's office, and the doctor via the human-machine interface changing the configuration settings of my pacemaker, and thereby making my heart go faster or slower. And also I felt that I almost passed out because my heart didn't start beating on its own when they switch it off. And that's a horrible feeling, and I wouldn't do that kind of experiments on myself in the lab.
All right, so from a risk perspective, the risk that you are exposed to seems clear. Also, the temptation to find out if the attack surface is actually critical for you. Do you know and I don't want you to, of course, disclose which model and type of pacemaker you have, but do you know if there are known vulnerabilities for it?
I haven't found any vulnerabilities by searching around for my specific device. But as I mentioned, I read the manual and I can see some potential weaknesses there. I've also experienced firsthand what it can mean to have some vulnerabilities in the device, because when I just got the implant, we struggle a lot with the configuration settings. It just didn't work for me. And it turned out that there was a software bug in the HMI. So the program that the doctors used to set the configurations had a software bug that meant that what they thought they had set there for some of my configurations was not really correct. And that actually impacted my well-being. And I'll also talk a little bit about that in my talk.
So not only attack surface for malicious outsiders, but also software bugs from the coder perspective can impact you as an individual.
Yes.
And your well-being.
Yeah.
All right, Marie, last question, so we don't go too much into what you will actually be talking about, but just as an intro to your hack.lu keynote, keep it there. Have you considered buying the type of device that you have inside of you to test on that?
I haven't done that myself, but
Have you
I don't
considered
see
doing it?
any. Well, no, I haven't considered doing that. I'm not doing that kind of hacking, but I know a lot of hackers, and I wouldn't mind if hackers that I know or just people in the hacker community buy similar devices and try to find vulnerabilities in them and experiment with them in the lab in a safe way, of course, not on a real person wearing it. And I would actually encourage that. That would make me feel safer. What's important when it comes to finding and hacking into these types of medical devices is that we need to work with the vendors and make sure that there's a responsible disclosure policy, that is a coordinated vulnerability disclosure. And I hope that this talk and others that are putting focus on this medical device security and safety issues can impact the vendors to work on preparing for how to handle this type of vulnerability disclosures in future. I really would hope that this happens without having to have any evidence of physical harm due to hacking of pacemakers.
Right. So we don't, for pacemakers, want any kind of flying sideways or deeps hitting into the shoulder of a road.
No, that would not feel me. That would not make me feel any more safer.
Right. So with that as a reminder of the ethical obligation that you should be aware of when you're researching, but still a call to action for hackers to actually buy these devices and test them, I think we should finish up, and I'm looking very much forward to your keynote, Marie.
Thank you.
I'll see you in October.
See you.
Bye.